Okay, everyone, welcome back to Adelshoven. Before the main episode 8, I just wanted to take an opportunity to expand the Autodrive course that we did the other day, and I thought it might be better to do a little more of a tutorial rather than try and include it in the episode, given the troubleshooting that often goes along with making your Autodrive courses more complex. This won't be super complex, but it will have a couple of things that were a little bit more sophisticated than the simple circuit we set up the other day. So this will take the form of a tutorial. I've slowed time right down. We're in the truck and we're just outside our yard here. The first thing we're going to do is fix this intersection, but before we do that, if you weren't aware, if you open the mouse up and you click on the question mark here, it'll bring up a very basic help menu that gives you a couple of the extra commands that can be useful. So in particular, the ability to create a freestanding node, to delete a node, and to create reverses and side roads. So one way or another, we're going to use most of those things in this episode. But the first thing we're going to do is try and sort out this intersection where Autodrive's brought in the splines that the map maker has included, but they aren't set up particularly well. So you can see, for instance, there's a two-way route. That's the blue lines on the other side of this intersection. And the intersection itself has nodes that are going in both directions, and a strange right-angled loop here, which goes some way to explaining the AI's traffic behavior at this intersection. So what we really want to do here, menu, left shift alt, and you'll see that, and I can delete the nodes we're connected to. So let's get rid of all of the ones. Left alt and so hold down left alt and click on a node, enables me to delete the node that I point to. Okay, and so what we end up with here are the nodes for the intersection, but they're just about at the intersection. And if we bring them all up to be around about the same point, we can see what we've got, but it also makes it easier to organize the connections. So clearly coming out of this road here on the right-hand side, we want to be able to turn right. So we're going to just select our node with the left mouse button, move across to the node we want to connect, use the scroll wheel to create a nice arc, and the left mouse button to finish. We want to be able to go straight across, so we can click the start and click the end. We want to be able to do the same, do a left-hand turn, but we've got no node there to connect to, so we'll have to do that in a minute when we drive around to the shop. Similarly, we want to be able to come from the far side across to this side, and we want to be able to come from the left all the way across to the right. When we're coming from the leftmost node, we also want to be able to turn the corner, so connect those up. And when we're over here, we want to be able to do the same to connect that up. So ultimately, we're looking to have 3 paths out of and into each of these nodes that we set up at the intersection. Okay, so we've only got one coming across here. So this one needs to go to there. one to there, and we've got to finish this route here. But we've got 3, 3, 2, because one's missing, 2, which means this guy needs to come to here. There's our third. So we're in good shape. So now if we turn the corner, just like so, we're going to need to record a course down this side of the road. So the easiest thing to do is to turn on recording here, and that'll give us a node. If we drive forward, because it's got no direction attached, now we can back out, right, whoops, and hit the wrong key. There we go. So now we can connect our turn coming in this direction. Oops. Our run across the road, across the intersection, and our turn. Which way are we going there? We're going in this direction over to here. And so now we've got the 3 connections with one exception. Where is your third? One there, one there, one there. Right. So that intersection should now be all set. And if we get back, we can turn our record on, drive forward a little bit to give that a direction, and we can connect up. And I'm just going to drive around to the shop. And at the dealership, given its orientation and where the yard is, which is a little bit, or where the spawn point is for vehicles and is a bit cramped, I think the safest is to come in from the service station on the other side there. And so to do that, and quite often I would imagine coming from this direction, I might be driving, might be towing a trailer. So whilst I'll want a path that ultimately goes past here, so we'll just continue on to go past. And then we're going to stop recording here. We'll fix the rest of that road at a later date. And just back up a little bit. If I wanted to turn in there with the trailer, I'd probably need to be starting the turnaround about here in order to comfortably make the corner. And so if I drive forward just a little bit, I can select and connect my new section, swing out, and that way I can start the turn and have a chance to get around even with the trailer on without cutting the corner. What I'm thinking is the parking space that I would want to set up for this area is probably here, given that the vehicles would spawn in front. So I want to label this point as dealer park 1, just in case I set another one up at another point in time. And then I want to continue around and again allow for the fact that I might turn in either direction. So I'm going to swing out and get to here. Now, if this one connects over there, I can make an arc by, oh, it gives me an odd. I've connected it to, or I'm pointing at the wrong one. So it's quite a tight turn to get onto here. And if I continue on, I want to connect this guy probably to this one over here. So there's a loop, and we've got our road running in both directions. So here we are at the exit of our yard. What I'm keen for is to maintain a one-way route through our yard. And so in the circumstance where we need to go to the shop, I need that route to be active there like so. And then we can say that that's finished. I also need to make a route that takes us over to deal with the water fill. And so the way I'm going to do that is pick up the tanker, which is sitting at the back of the open air garden there. Now, ultimately, this is going to be the parking space for the open air garden. So what I want to do is attach to my tanker, and I want to start line or connection from here. So I can create a node, which is going to be left control and just click where I want it. And I'm going to connect that on. It won't let me curve, so I need to record. So now we've got direction, and now I can curve it. Okay, so I created the first node. Because it was a standalone node, it didn't know which way I wanted to go, so it couldn't create a curve. So I needed to start recording to create a second node under the car, and then I could make a curve connection onto my outlane. So we can turn off record now because that will be fine. That's going to lead us around and across to the water. So we'll progress down through the intersection. Sorry for the camera, it's just easier to view from this level. So we're going to come down here, and around about here is where I want to head off. So make sure I'm past the node there. And I want to connect on like so. And I want to head over here. I'll let these people wander by. Down to the water's edge, just where the gradient of the bank slopes off a bit. And I just want to dip my trailer in. So I'm just driving down here until hopefully I activate the water trigger, and I haven't managed to. So what I'm going to do is pull through to here. I'm going to stop recording for a second, label this as water fill, and then if I look back behind me, that path didn't quite go into the water. So I'm just going to drag my points just a little bit closer in the hope that I put a wheel in the water on the way through, and that'll be enough to activate my fill point. We're going to test it in a minute. So now having my fill point, I can turn record back on. Remember to connect it up. And I want to head back to the road, which is over through here. Avoid the trees. Now, in this situation, I can't imagine it, but there could be a scenario where I want to go in both directions. So for the moment, we'll turn recording off. We'll pick the point we want to connect to with a reasonable arc. And we'll do the same again, going the other way. So we're nicely connected there. Now, the other thing that we want to do is make sure that the only traffic that bothers to go down that route is traffic that's going to fill up water. And so the way we do that, this is where that line branches off. So the first node on that side spur, so to speak, is here. So if I press left shift and then select that node, now I've got a yellow dot there, and that designates that as a side road. I could change all the rest of them if I wanted, but really, as far as Autodrive's concerned, I only need to change the first node on that spur, and Autodrive will avoid it unless it's going specifically in that direction to a destination that's on that spur. So now coming up here, where we know we've fixed the turns at this corner, and so you can see as I come up here, I've got 3 lines. They're a bit hard to see. One turns left, one goes straight through, and one goes to the right. So my left hand turns fine. And it brings me round to our yard. Now, the thing is, the turn into our yard is tighter than I want. So from this node here, I probably want to do some more recording to give myself an easier swing. So we'll turn on, and for reasons best known to Autodrive, it's given me the back of the... So that's okay. We can live with that. We'll select that node and we'll head off here, and we're just going to swing out to make the turn into here a little bit more sympathetic. Now, because this is the water fill, we'd really like to connect with that next node. So we're going to connect over there and turn that off. But we also are keen to create an unload point for that open air garden. And I know from experience that the fill trigger is quite large for that open air garden. So what I'm going to do is create, I've just driven through, I'm now connected to this one. I'm going to turn record on, and it's going to give me a node here. And I want to connect there, just like so. And I just want to try and drag the trailer through without hitting the potatoes so that it triggers the unload. Did I put water in it? That will be the interesting question. I've got no water, so it won't trigger the unload at the minute. Never mind. We'll fix that in a second. And so now I'm going to label this point I'm not actually connected to it now, am I? So I need to turn off my record and just back up a fraction. So I'm now connected to this point, and so I can label this open garden water drop. And that hopefully will do the trick. And if we zoom out just a fraction, if we move this point and this point and this point just a little sharper into there, I'd be pretty confident that that will work. We also need to connect this drop point to here. Now if we come back in and we just back up a fraction, we need to make sure we've got nothing selected. So we're going to go left shift because this is a side road. Okay, so we only want traffic down this path when it's delivering water to the open garden water drop. Now we need to back up a little further because the other alternative, of course, is we need to deliver to the sheep pen. Now, given that there's going to be wool pallets here, that could be a little tricky to get to. So what we're going to do is connect our parser. We'll drive across here and we'll create a node about here, I think. So the left control and click is going to create our node. We want to connect it to this point. And then we want to record. Oops, I got a node I didn't want. Never mind, we'll fix that in a minute. So I'll drive forward. Now I'm pretty sure I won't pick up this fill point on this trajectory. So what I'm going to do is drive through until I'm straight. And then I'm going to reverse. This is easier for me to do turning around. And so what I want to do is reverse the trailer, ideally in a straight line, back onto the fill point. Like so. Now that should be enough nodes. And then we can stop recording. We want to connect this line up to our exit. We want to delete that node there. So that's going to be our left alt again and click. And we want to connect you to here. Put you across into the line. I wanted you to be our local. So this is going to be left shift. Okay, so now we've got our side spur coming through here. And this guy here is the guy we want to label. So we'll do that shortly. It's easier to do if I can back up in a straight line past. There we go. I just drive across here. I'm hoping it'll select that node for me. Whoops. Almost got it. There we go. So now I can label that node as sheep water drop. Now the last one I want to do, same idea. Is from about this position. We want to start recording, but this time we want to back our trailer around to drop the water, and we want to stay as far across, bearing in mind obviously you can move the nodes if you have trouble backing it in. Okay. So that's that course. Now we just need to label those nodes. And on the reversing course, okay, why don't I back straight through? That'll be the easiest. So just here, can we see where that is? Right. So this is the second last one. So if I call that water, because I can't have two names on the same point, but I want to have that to be greenhouse water drop. And the last one, I want to be water tanker park. Okay. So now what we should be able to do is just pull up to here, assume that I've just connected on to my water tanker, as I would because it was parked in this position. And I say we can turn off the help for a second. And I say, well, I want to do a pick up and deliver. I want to go to our water fill point. I want to deliver to the sheep water drop. And I want to deliver water. So let's see what happens. I need to fix my speeds here because they're way too fast. That's no good when we just dive forward there. So are you able to get out of there? Let's find out. So you turn out of there pretty happily. These speeds are still a bit quick for mine. So let's pause you for a second. And go into settings. Corner speed should be okay. Maybe 50% for this vehicle. Field exit, restrict to field. No, avoid fruit. Yes. Park in the field. Yes. Cycle pickup and deliver is fine. Automatic refueling we don't want. Automatic repairing we don't want. So we're going to apply those settings. Now, over here in the little HUD, I can use my right mouse button. Unfortunately, it's a click at a time. I don't know a faster way to drop the cruise control setting. And for some reason, it picks up this different cornering speed setting. It may in fact be the implement. Let's just see how we go with that. So we're on track. We're heading across to the water fill point. Down our little side road. Slowing down because it knows it's approaching a point. Will it be enough? Yes, it gets into the water this time. So we're taking on a tank full. So when that's full, it should now head to the sheep water drop. Now the sheep water drop doesn't take a full tank. It's only got a small amount. So if we don't get it on this first fill, once we do get it, it won't take very much water. So back out of there. Should make the turn onto the road. Come up to the corner, and if we've done that correctly, it should make the corner turn up here. Looks pretty good. Now, this is the tricky bit. We're coming into the yard. We want it to take that branch off to the right-hand side to drive up, whoops, and then reverse back to the water point. I don't have it set far enough. Okay, so you can see it hasn't come far enough forward to be able to back down that spur that we created. So what we need to do, well, first of all, stop the course, is bring everything further forward and spread these out a little bit. So if we put the drive up course over there, and we put the reversing course in here, that should work a little bit better. So let's see how that goes. So let's back up a little bit. Because it's in a drop point, it assumes it's in the correct one. Okay, so it's going to drive up. Now it's going to go fill up again. Sorry about that, folks. We'll fast forward and come back to this point. So here we come for take two, folks. So we've taken our little spur. We're driving up to the point where we want to start reversing. We're actually past the water point this time, which is much better. We're now backing back. And this time we pick up the trigger, we put a little bit in, and we're done. So that works beautifully. We could still improve it, I think, by moving this point across a little. And even that point across a little. We won't bother testing that one again. This time what we'll do is just a straight deliver to the open garden water drop. So let's see what he does. Come around, loop around. Here we are entering. Now we need to take the left-hand spur, which we have. Turn to avoid the potatoes. And as long as the trailer passes through the trigger, which it does, we're good. So I don't want to empty all the water. But too late, she cried. Okay, so I need to go and get some more water so I can just test this last one. But I think you get the idea. The last step is if we, I think it's right, so hold the control key, the left control key and right click. It's selected that, oh, okay. So if I now select my water tanker park, I'm selected on the tool, which in this case is the tanker. And now I hold my left control and right click. I've now got a chosen parking destination of water tanker park for this tanker. And so now if I press the park key, it's not connected. Why is that? So you are there. Now, because the reversing course, I did not connect. So I need to drive forward just a whisker. Right, so there's the reversing course that goes into Water Tanker Park. But I did not connect it to the main line. So we want to do that. In fact, we may be better off doing that. So after several attempts, I think we've got it just about figured out. And that's really, I've found the key to Autodrive. You need to understand the basic principles and then you just experiment with it and be prepared to just try a couple of things, move the waypoints until you get them in the correct position. So I was able to successfully get the tanker to back into the parking space. I'm now just testing whether it can drive from the parking space, fill up with water. So part A is complete. And yes, we're full. And it's now should drive back to the greenhouse and drop that water off. And if that's the case, our job here will be done. So I hope you found that at least a little bit useful. Maybe got some tips on what to do and possibly what not to do. And if you haven't used Autodrive for even basic tasks, perhaps think about if you're on PC, adding it to your game, because it does mean that you can separate some of the regular repetitive tasks that you don't particularly enjoy out and give you time to focus on the things that you do like. And for me, setting up and a little bit of maintenance that goes into it, thinking about how to organize your auto drive courses is a fun part of the game too. So here we go, fingers crossed. He's going to drive up to a point where the trailer is on the reversing course, which is somewhere around about here. He's going to turn the corner. There we go. He's picked up the fill point. And so that has successfully filled the greenhouse. And now we will back all the way in to the till the trailer is actually at the point. Well, in fact, now he's going to go and fill the tank again. So, because I suspect I did the fill till complete. So I hope that you found that useful, and join me for the episode where we don't have to do this. We can just use it. Thanks for watching. Cheers.